I wasn't supposed to remember his face, but I do, and that's the problem. The music was soft, piano, calm, perfect, exactly how my wife, no, my fiancé at the time, wanted it. The hall was glowing with warm golden lights. Crystal chandeliers reflected across polished marble floors. People were laughing, hugging, raising glasses. It was supposed to be the happiest night of my life. And for the first, maybe 20 minutes, it was. Ali, relax. Aisha squeezed my hand. You look like you're about to run away. I forced a smile. I'm not running, just processing. She laughed softly. You've had 3 years to process. Yeah, 3 years. And somehow, none of that prepared me for the feeling sitting in my chest right now. Like something was off. Not wrong. Not yet. Just off. The ceremony went perfectly. Vows, tears, applause. That moment where everything slows down and you think, this is it. This is your life now. Then the reception started, and that's when everything changed. It happened so small, I almost ignored it. I was standing near the drinks table, talking to my cousin Hamza, when he suddenly stopped mid-sentence. His eyes shifted past me. His smile dropped. Bro, he whispered. Who's that? I turned, casually, not expecting anything. Just another guest, another friend of a friend, another... And then I saw him. He was standing across the hall, still, too still, wearing a black tuxedo, perfectly fitted, like he belonged there. But no one was talking to him. No one was near him. It was like the crowd avoided him without realizing. And his face, he was smiling. Not a normal smile, not a friendly one. It was wide. Too wide, like it didn't belong on a human face. Our eyes met, and I swear to God, he didn't blink. I looked away instantly. My stomach tightened. That guy? I said, trying to sound normal. Probably from Aisha's side. Hamza shook his head. No, I've been watching him for like 2 minutes. He hasn't moved. I laughed it off. Fake laugh. The kind you do when your brain doesn't want to accept something. Relax, you're overthinking. But when I looked back again, he was closer. Not walking, not moving, just closer. Now he was near one of the pillars, still staring, still smiling. My chest felt tight. Okay, I muttered. That's definitely weird. Hamza leaned in. Did you see him move? I didn't answer, because I hadn't. And that's when something even worse happened. Aisha walked up beside me. Hey, what are you She stopped, mid-sentence. Her eyes locked onto him. And for the first time that night, I saw fear on her face. Ali, who is that? I didn't respond, because now I wasn't sure anymore. I don't know, I said quietly. She grabbed my arm tighter. That's not funny. I'm not joking. Silence. The music continued. People laughed. Glasses clinked. The world went on like nothing was wrong. But for us, everything had shifted. Okay, Hamza said, forcing control. Let's do something simple. He pulled out his phone. I'll ask the event manager. Every guest is registered. Good. Logical. Normal. That's what we needed. Something normal. Hamza walked off. Aisha didn't take her eyes off the man. Ali, he's looking at me now. I felt it before I saw it. I turned slowly. She was right. His head had tilted slightly. Still smiling. But now, his eyes were locked onto her. Not me. Not the crowd. Her. And something about that, something deeply, instinctively wrong, hit me all at once. "Stay here. Ali, don't go." But I was already going, because whatever that thing was, he didn't belong at my wedding, and I was about to find out why. I started walking towards him, slowly, carefully, trying not to cause a scene. Step by step, the noise of the room faded. It was just me and him. Halfway across the hall, he spoke. Without moving his lips, "You shouldn't have invited me." I froze. My blood ran cold because I didn't hear it with my ears. I heard it inside my head. And when I looked up, he was no longer smiling. He was grinning, wider, and somehow closer again, even though I hadn't seen him move. "Ali!" Hamza's voice cut through everything. I snapped out of it, turned. He was running towards me, face pale, phone shaking in his hand. "Bro," he said breathless, "he's not on the list." Silence. I turned back. The man was gone. Just gone. No trace, no movement, no exit. Nothing. But the feeling, that didn't leave. Because deep down, I knew something. Something I didn't want to admit. He wasn't gone. He was just somewhere else now. Watching, waiting, and somehow closer. For a few seconds, no one spoke. The music kept playing. People kept laughing. Waiters walked past us like nothing had happened. But for me, everything felt distant, muted, like I was underwater. "He's gone?" I whispered. Hamza nodded slowly. I checked the main entrance, the side doors, even the emergency exit. He swallowed. No one saw him leave. That didn't make sense. This wasn't a small place. There were cameras everywhere, security, staff, hundreds of people. Someone should have seen him. "Okay," I said, forcing myself to think straight. "Maybe he went to the washroom or outside for a call. You're jumping to Ali." I stopped. Hamza lifted his phone again. I checked the guest database. He turned the screen toward me. Every name, every invite, every +1. "Scroll," he said. I did. Slowly, carefully. Nothing. No unknown entry. No last-minute addition. No error. "He doesn't exist," Hamza said quietly. That sentence hit harder than it should have, because deep down, I already knew that. "Let's check the cameras," Hamza said. I nodded instantly. Yes, cameras don't lie. Cameras would explain everything. They had to. The hallway behind the main hall felt colder, quieter, like we had stepped out of the celebration and into something else entirely. The security room was small, dim, lit by multiple screens showing different angles of the wedding. A guard sat inside, half asleep, scrolling on his phone. Hamza knocked. "Bhai, quick check tiny hai. Ek guest ka issue hai." The guard sighed, annoyed, but he turned toward the monitors. "Kaun sa guest?" I stepped forward. Black tuxedo, tall, standing alone, near the pillars. The guard rewound the footage. "Time?" I checked my watch. "About 5 minutes ago." He nodded, pressed a few buttons, and then there he was, clear as day, standing in the middle of the hall, exactly where we saw him. My heart started racing. "Zoom," Hamza said. The guard zoomed in. The man's face filled the screen. That same unnatural smile, that same stillness. But something was wrong. Very wrong. "Pause it," I said. The guard paused the video. I stepped closer. "Go back, frame by frame." He did. One frame, next frame, Next, I felt my stomach drop, because in every frame, he had it moved, not even slightly. People around him shifted, walked, talked, blinking, laughing. But him? Frozen, like a photograph pasted into reality. "What the hell?" Hamza whispered. "Play it." The video resumed. Guests walked past him. Waiters crossed in front of him. A child even ran nearby and stopped. For a split second, the child looked up at him, and then the child started crying. Loud, sudden, terrified. "Pause it," I said quickly. We all leaned in. The child's face? Pure fear. Not confusion, not discomfort. Fear. Like he had just seen something no one else could. "Skip forward," Hamza said. The guard fast-forwarded. The man was still there, still smiling, still watching. "Go to when he disappeared," I said. The guard nodded, scrolled ahead, and then we saw it. But I wish we hadn't, because it made everything worse. Much worse. The video showed me walking toward him, step by step, just like I remembered. But then, the screen glitched, static, for half a second. And when it came back, I was still walking, but the man was gone. No movement, no exit, no transition, just gone. Like he had never been there. Silence filled the room. "No," the guard muttered. "That's not possible." Hamza stepped back. "Rewind it." Again, same thing. Glitch, gone. No explanation. I felt cold. Really cold. Because now, it wasn't just in my head. It wasn't just what I felt. It was real. Recorded. Proven. "Check earlier," I said. The guard frowned. "Yeah?" "Before he appeared, go back further." He hesitated, then nodded. The footage rewound. Guests entering, laughing, greeting each other. Normal. Everything normal. "Keep going," I said. More footage. Then suddenly, "There," Hamza said. The guard paused. We leaned in, and my heart stopped. Because the man was already there, standing in the hall, before the guest even entered, before the music started, before the event began. Just standing, alone, watching the empty hall, waiting. "Oh my God," Hamza whispered. The security guard slowly stood up from his chair. "I didn't see him come in," he said, voice shaking. "I swear, I was here the whole time." I couldn't breathe properly, because now it wasn't just in my head. It wasn't just what I felt. It was real, recorded, proven. "Check earlier," I said. The guard frowned. "Yeah?" "Before he appeared, go back further." He hesitated, then nodded. The footage rewound. Guests entering, laughing, greeting each other. Normal. Everything normal. "Keep going," I said. More footage. Then suddenly, "There," Hamza said. The guard paused. We leaned in, and my heart stopped. Because the man was already there, standing in the hall, before the guest even entered, before the music started, before the event began. Just standing, alone, watching the empty hall, waiting. "Oh my God," Hamza whispered. The security guard slowly stood up from his chair. "I didn't see him come in," he said, voice shaking. "I swear, I was here the whole time." I couldn't breathe properly, because now it wasn't just in my head. It wasn't just what I felt. It was real, recorded, proven. "Check earlier," I said. The guard frowned. Yeah? Before he appeared, go back further. He hesitated, then nodded. The footage rewound. Guests entering, laughing, greeting each other. Normal. Everything normal. Keep going, I said. More footage. Then suddenly, there, Hamza said. The guard paused. We leaned in, and my heart stopped. Because the man was already there, standing in the hall, before the guest even entered, before the music started, before the event began. Just standing, alone, watching the empty hall, waiting. Oh my God, Hamza whispered. The security guard slowly stood up from his chair. I didn't see him come in, he said, voice shaking. I swear, I was here the whole time. I couldn't breathe properly, because now it wasn't just in my head. It wasn't just what I felt. It was real, recorded, proven. Check earlier, I said. The guard frowned. Yeah? Before he appeared, go back further. He hesitated, then nodded. The footage rewound. Guests entering, laughing, greeting each other. Normal. Everything normal. Keep going, I said. More footage. Then suddenly, there, Hamza said. The guard paused. We leaned in, and my heart stopped. Because the man was already there, standing in the hall, before the guest even entered, before the music started, before the event began. Just standing, alone, watching the empty hall, waiting. Oh my God, Hamza whispered. The security guard slowly stood up from his chair. I didn't see him come in, he said, voice shaking. I swear, I was here the whole time. I couldn't breathe properly, because now it wasn't just in my head. It wasn't just what I felt. It was real, recorded, proven. Check earlier, I said. The guard frowned. Yeah? Before he appeared, go back further. He hesitated, then nodded. The footage. For a moment, I didn't move. My eyes stayed locked on Aisha's message. He's sitting at our table. It didn't make sense. We had just seen him disappear, on camera, in front of us. And now, he was back? Ali, Hamza snapped. Bro, we need to go, now. I nodded, but my legs felt heavy, because deep down, I already knew something had changed. This wasn't just observation anymore. This was escalation. The doors opened, and the sound hit us instantly. Music, laughter, glasses clinking. Normal. Everything looked normal. But it wasn't, because now we knew. I scanned the crowd, fast, desperate. Then I saw her, Aisha, standing near our table, frozen. She wasn't looking at me, she was looking at him. I followed her gaze, and there he was, sitting at my table, in my seat, back straight, hands resting calmly on the table, and that smile still there, but softer now, like he was comfortable, like he belonged. No, I whispered. Hamza grabbed my arm. Don't just walk up to him. Too late, because I already was. Step by step, the same feeling returned. The noise around me faded. The world blurred. It was just me and him. When I reached the table, he looked up, directly at me, and for the first time, he spoke. Congratulations. His voice was calm, polite, almost warm, but something about it made my skin crawl. Who are you? I said, straight, no hesitation. Aisha stepped closer to me, her hand trembling in mine. The man tilted his head slightly. You invited me. My chest tightened. No, I said immediately. You're not on the list. He smiled wider. Lists can be wrong. Hamza stepped forward, more aggressive. Listen, brother, whatever happens, this is a private event. You need to leave. The man slowly turned his eyes toward Hamza. And just like that, Hamza went quiet, mid-sentence, like someone had pressed pause on him. Hamza, I said. No response. He was staring at the man, frozen, exactly like the footage. Hamza, I grabbed his shoulder. He blinked, suddenly, like he snapped back. Yeah, I'm here, he said, confused. The man chuckled softly. You shouldn't interrupt when I'm being welcomed. I'm not welcoming you, I snapped. For a brief second, his smile faded, and in that moment, I saw something underneath, something dark, something that didn't feel human. Then, the smile came back, wider. Are you sure? He said quietly. And then, he looked at Aisha. Not casually, not briefly. He studied her, like he already knew her, like he was remembering something. Aisha, he said softly. Her grip on my hand tightened. How do you know my name? She whispered. The room suddenly felt colder. The man leaned back slightly, relaxed. I've known you for a long time. No, she said immediately, her voice shaking. No, you haven't. He smiled again. That's the problem. Silence. I felt anger rising now, fear turning into something sharper. Enough, I said. You're leaving, now. I reached for his shoulder. The moment my hand touched him, everything changed. The sound, gone. The lights, gone. The hall, gone. For a split second, I was somewhere else. Dark, cold, silent. And he was standing in front of me, not sitting, standing, much closer. His face no longer normal. That smile stretched unnaturally wide, eyes completely black. You really don't remember? He whispered. Then, everything snapped back. The music, the lights, the hall. I stumbled back, breathing hard. What the hell? I whispered. Hamza caught me. Ali, what happened? I looked at the chair. Empty. He was gone. Again. No, Aisha whispered. I turned to her. Her face had gone pale. What? I asked quickly. She pointed. Under the table. My heart dropped, because taped beneath it was an envelope. Old. Yellowed. Like it had been there for a long time. Who put that there? Hamza said. No one answered, because we all knew no one saw anyone place it. My hands shook as I pulled it off. There was only one thing written on it, in messy, uneven handwriting. For the groom. Silence. Don't open it, Hamza said immediately. Too late, because I already had. Inside, a single photograph. I pulled it out slowly, and the moment I saw it, my blood turned to ice. Because it was a picture of me, not from today, not from this wedding, but from years ago, standing next to Aisha and someone else, someone we both recognized but couldn't remember. Because his face was scratched out violently, only one thing remained visible. His smile, that same impossible smile. On the back of the photo, there was a message, written in the same messy handwriting. You promised I'd be there. Aisha stepped back, shaking. Ali, her voice barely came out. I think, she looked at the photo again. I think I've seen him before. My heart stopped. Where? I asked quickly. She looked up at me, tears forming in her eyes. And what she said next changed everything. Not here. For a few seconds, no one spoke. The noise of the wedding felt fake now, distant, like it didn't belong to us anymore. My childhood? I repeated slowly. Aisha nodded, but she wasn't looking at me. She was staring at the photo, her hands trembling. I don't remember clearly, she said, but I know that face. Hamza frowned. Face is scratchless. Aisha shook her head. Not the face, she pointed. The smile. Silence. A cold feeling crawled up my spine. Start from the beginning, I said gently. She took a shaky breath. When I was little, maybe 7 or 8, I used to talk to someone. Hamza let out a quiet, nervous laugh. Imaginary friend? Aisha didn't smile. Yes, that one word felt wrong. Every kid has that, Hamza said quickly, trying to normalize it, but Aisha shook her head again. No, this was different. She looked up at me, eyes filled with something I had never seen before. Fear, real fear. I wasn't imagining him. Silence. I felt my throat go dry. What do you mean? I asked. She swallowed. I used to describe him to my mother, the same way, every time. Her voice dropped. Black clothes, standing still, and always smiling. My grip tightened around the photo. Did your parents ever see him? I asked. She shook her head. No. Pause. But they heard me talking. That sent a chill through me. What did you talk about? Hamza asked quietly. Aisha hesitated, then said something that made my stomach drop. I used to invite him places. Silence. What kind of places? I asked slowly. Her lips trembled. Birthdays, family dinners, school events. She looked at the photo again. Important moments. The realization hit me like a punch. And weddings? I whispered. Aisha didn't answer, because she didn't need to. We both knew. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from across the hall. We all turned. A glass had shattered on the floor. A waiter stood frozen beside it, his face pale. What happened? Someone asked. The waiter didn't respond. He was staring at something behind us. Slowly, very slowly, I turned, and my heart dropped, because he was back, standing near the dance floor, closer than before, watching, always watching. No, Hamza whispered, but this time something was different. People were noticing him. A couple nearby looked uncomfortable. A woman leaned toward her husband. Who's that guy? A child hid behind his mother. The illusion was breaking. He wasn't invisible anymore. He was becoming real. Okay, enough is enough, Hamza said suddenly. Before I could stop him, he started walking toward the man. Hamza, wait! But he didn't listen. He reached the man, stood face to face with him. We couldn't hear what they were saying, but we could see it. Hamza spoke first, angry, aggressive. The man didn't move, didn't react, just smiled. Then, Hamza's posture changed. His shoulders relaxed, his expression softened, like he was listening now, not arguing, listening. No, I whispered, because I had seen this before. The way he froze earlier, the way the child reacted. Something was happening, something wrong. Hamza, I shouted. No response. Aisha grabbed my arm. Ali, don't. Too late. I started moving, fast. But before I could reach them, the man turned and started walking. For the first time, we saw him move, slow, calm, toward the exit, and Hamza followed him, like he had no choice, like he was being pulled. Hamza, I yelled. He didn't stop, didn't turn, didn't react. He just kept walking. The doors opened. The man stepped outside. Hamza followed. The doors closed. Silence. I ran, pushed through the crowd, reached the doors, opened them, and froze, because outside there was no one there. Empty, completely empty. No footsteps, no shadows, no movement, just darkness and cold air. No, 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 I whispered. I stepped outside, looked left, nothing. Right, nothing. Gone. Both of them, like they had never existed. My chest tightened, because this time he hadn't just disappeared. He took someone with him. When I walked back in, everything felt wrong. The music had stopped. People were whispering, confused. What happened? Someone asked. Where did that guy go? And who was with him? Questions. Too many questions, but no answers. Aisha stood in the middle of the hall, alone, shaking. I walked up to her slowly. He's gone, I said. She looked at me, tears in her eyes.
"No," she whispered. My heart sank. "What do you mean?" Her voice broke. "He's not gone," she pointed. Behind me. My body went cold, because I already knew. I didn't want to turn around, but I did, slowly. And there, standing right behind me, closer than ever before, was the man, smiling. And this time, he spoke my name clearly, right next to my ear. "Ali."
My entire body froze. I could feel his breath, cold, right against my ear. Ali. I didn't turn. I couldn't, because something inside me, something ancient and instinctive, was screaming, "Don't look at him." But Aisha was staring past me, eyes wide, tears streaming down her face. "Ali," she whispered, "he's right behind you." I swallowed hard. "What do you want?" I said, my voice barely steady. Silence. Then a soft chuckle. "You already know." My fists clenched. "No," I said. "Say it." A pause. Then slowly he walked. I felt it, not saw it. The air shifted, and suddenly he was standing in front of me, closer than ever before. His face no longer fully human. That smile stretched impossibly wide, eyes darker than anything I had ever seen. "You made a promise," he said. The words hit me like a blow. "I don't remember any promise," I snapped. He tilted his head. "That's the problem." Silence. Then he looked at Aisha, and everything changed, because this time she remembered. I saw it in her eyes, that moment when something buried deep breaks free. "The well," she whispered. My heart skipped. "What?" I said. She stepped back, shaking. Behind our old house, there was a well. The man smiled wider. "Yes." Aisha's breathing became uneven. "I used to go there, to play." Her voice dropped. "With him." The hall felt colder. "What happened there?" I asked. She looked at me, terrified. "I pushed him." Silence. My brain struggled to process it. "What do you mean you pushed him?" I said. Her voice broke. He wouldn't leave me alone. He kept following me, kept saying I invited him." Tears streamed down her face. "So I told him," she looked at the man, "if you want to come to everything, then come to my wedding." My heart dropped. "No," I whispered. She continued, "And then I pushed him." Silence. The man's smile never faded. "Children make promises so easily," he said softly. My mind raced. "You're saying—" I struggled to speak. "He died?" Aisha nodded slowly. "He fell into the well, and I never told anyone." The room spun, because now everything made sense. The waiting, the watching, the invitation. This wasn't random. This was a promise being fulfilled. The man stepped closer. "You invited me," he said calmly. Aisha shook her head violently. "No, I was a child. I didn't mean it." He smiled. "But you said it." Silence. "You said I could come to your most important day." My chest tightened. "This is insane," I said. "You can't just—" He cut me off. I waited. His voice dropped. "For years." The lights flickered. The temperature dropped sharply. I stayed where you left me. Aisha covered her mouth. In the dark. The room felt suffocating. Alone. Guests around us began to notice, whispers growing louder, fear spreading. "But promises," he continued, "must be kept." Suddenly, a loud scream echoed from across the hall. We turned. A woman collapsed. Gone. Not unconscious. Gone. Just like that. "What the hell?" someone shouted. Panic started spreading. Another scream. A man near the entrance disappeared.
No movement, no trace, just gone. What's happening? Aisha cried. The man looked around calmly. Balance, he said. I felt my stomach drop. What? He looked at me. You invited hundreds. Silence. I was invited once. My blood ran cold. So now, his smile widened. I stay. Pause. And they go. No, I shouted. People were running now, screaming, pushing towards exits. But something was wrong. The doors wouldn't open. They slammed shut, locked, lights flickering violently. No one leaves, he said calmly. Suddenly, a voice echoed behind us. Ali? My heart stopped. I turned, and my entire body went numb. Because Hamza was standing there. But something was wrong, very wrong. His skin pale, eyes hollow, and his mouth stretching into that same unnatural smile. No, I whispered. He stepped forward slowly. He showed me, Hamza said, his voice not fully his. Showed you what? I asked, shaking. Hamza's smile widened. What it feels like to be invited. Aisha screamed. I stepped back because now there weren't just one. There were two, and both of them were smiling.
Everything broke at once. People were screaming, running, crying, begging. The music had stopped completely, lights flickering violently, but there was nowhere to go. Every door locked, every exit sealed, and in the middle of it all, he stood, smiling. Make it stop, Aisha cried. She collapsed to her knees. I didn't mean it. I was a child, please. The man looked down at her, not angry, not emotional, just calm. You meant it enough to say it. Silence. That line felt like a verdict, like a sentence already decided. No, I said, stepping forward. You don't get to do this. He turned to me slowly. Oh, but I do. Behind him, more people disappeared, one by one. No pattern, no warning, just gone. The hall was emptying, and every time someone vanished, the air felt heavier, darker, like something was replacing them. You think I'm taking them, he said quietly. I froze. Aren't you? He smiled. I'm not taking anything. Pause. I'm being given space. My mind struggled to understand. What does that even mean? His eyes locked onto mine. For me to stay. Silence. And then it hit me. The more people disappeared, the more real he became. The more present, the more alive. No, I whispered, but it was already happening. His skin more solid, his shadow darker, his presence heavier. Ali, Hamza's voice echoed. I turned. He was closer now, walking slowly. That same unnatural smile stretched across his face. Join us. No, I shouted. He stopped. For a second, something flickered in his eyes. Run, he whispered. My heart jumped. Hamza? Run, he repeated, weaker this time. And then the smile snapped back, stronger, wider. Too late. He lunged. Everything blurred. I stumbled back, and suddenly, Hamza was gone, just like the others. No body, no trace, nothing. Only a few people were left now. The hall almost empty. Just me, Aisha, and him. This ends when the promise is complete, he said calmly. My chest tightened. What promise? He smiled. You invited me. He looked at Aisha. To your wedding. Silence. Then he extended his hand. Dance with me. Aisha froze. No, she whispered. You said I could be here. He stepped closer. So let me stay. Tears streamed down her face. Ali! I grabbed her hand tightly. We're not doing this. The man's smile slowly faded.
For the first time, he looked disappointed. Then it continues. The lights flickered violently. Another person, gone. Screams echoed in the distance. The building itself felt like it was shifting, breaking. I looked at Aisha, and in that moment, I understood. There was no fighting this, no escaping, only completing it. I slowly let go of her hand. "Ollie?" she whispered. "It's the only way," I said quietly. She shook her head, but deep down, she knew, because this started with her, and it had to end with her. Her hand trembled as she reached out and placed it in his. The moment she touched him, everything went silent. Completely silent. The lights stabilized, the air stopped moving, and soft music started playing again, just like the beginning. They began to dance, slow, calm, like nothing had ever happened, like this was always meant to be. I stood there, watching, unable to move, because something inside me was breaking. As the dance ended, the man smiled, satisfied, and then he looked at me. One promise fulfilled. Pause. "But you," my heart stopped, "didn't invite me." Silence. "Not yet." Cold fear flooded my body. "What?" His smile widened. "But you will." The lights went out. Everything went dark. For a second, nothing existed. Then, the lights came back, bright, normal. The hall full again. People laughing, music playing, like nothing had happened, like it was all normal. I looked around frantically. Everyone was there. Every guest, every table, everything. Except Aisha. She was gone. And in her place, on the stage, was a framed wedding photo. I walked towards it slowly, my hands shaking. And when I looked at it, I stopped breathing. Because in the photo, it wasn't me and Aisha. It was her standing beside him, smiling. And me, I wasn't in it. Not anymore. On the bottom of the frame, there was a message, written in that same messy handwriting. "Thank you for the invitation." I don't remember leaving the wedding. I don't remember how I got home. But every night, at exactly 2:17 a.m., I hear a knock on my door. 3 slow knocks, and the voice, soft, smiling. "Ollie,